Hello, my beautiful stitching friends. My name is Sandy the Sunroom Stitcher, and I'm coming to you from the gentle folds of the lilac thicket. It's gorgeous outside. It's Monday. It's sunny, and it's extremely humid out. We've had an unusual summer this year. It has been a lot cooler and rainier than it usually is. And I know it has to do with the solar cycles, but I want 100 degrees, okay? That's just what I want. So anyways, if you watched my previous videos, welcome back, and thank you so much for watching this fat face, okay? It's been 3 weeks since my last video. This is my 65th episode. The third from coming back, my third after I got my YouTube account reinstated. And I've had a great 3 weeks, and I hope that you have too. I had 5 people who commented on my last video. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that. It really means a lot to me. It honestly does, because it does take extra time, and it's just nice. It's like you're giving me a hug, okay? And I just wanted to mention those people: Farm Boys Love, Karen Monick, Pauline Horn, and you can spell my name any way you want to, Pauline. Cindy Martinez, and Faith Brolick. I love that name, Faith. I do. And Cindy, I just wanted to ask you, because you did join my Facebook group, Needle Free for All, and I'm just wondering, and you can type these comments or send me an email, whatever you like. I'm just sort of curious. Have you found anything in there yet that you like? Because there's been some great freebies that I've found and I've shared on there. August is going to be tremendous. I've got August almost full. And so I'm just sort of curious if you've found some. Let me know which ones. Because then that way, I guess what I'm looking for is everybody has different styles of cross-stitch designs that they like. So one of our members likes bookmarks. So when I find bookmarks, I'll post them on there and with her name in them. So anyways, and that's the advantage of having a smaller group. And it's not that it would be nice if it was a big group also. But, you know, with a big group comes a lot more managing than a smaller group. We just have such a nice group on Needle Free for All on Facebook. Really some personal friends that I know in real life, and some that I've been friends with for a long time on the internet. So yeah. And I did get my happy room cleaned and reorganized, and I'm thrilled about that. It's still some fine tuning, like above here on the bookcase, and I need to not get rid of the books, but move the books downstairs to the basement. So anyways, today in this video, what I wanted to do was show you some of my finishes, and I do have some finishes, and they're freebies. And as always, I'm going to share the links to those free designs down below in the notes section. So if you see something that you must have or that you want, you can go down there to get that specific freebie. Also, I will mention that my blog has over 250 links to different sites that have free designs. I just added another one yesterday of a place that I just found. That she has some fun different stuff out there, like dancing peas. Not the letter P, but peas that you eat. They're dancing. I mean, everybody needs dancing peas, right? Anyways, so, and also the link to my blog is down there. And also the link to Needle Free for All if you're interested in joining a Facebook group. My freebie Facebook group, you certainly can. I drop 2 posts a day at this point. And if one day it vanishes, Facebook is just, it's really awful. I got a warning on there that I had on the group that I had tried to post something that was against community guidelines. I never got an email. I have no idea what they're talking about. So someday, if it disappears or if I disappear off Facebook, I told you, it's crazy. So anyways, let's get to it. And let's see here. The very first thing that I want to share with you today is my fully finished Flag City. And I turned it into a wall pocket. And I love the design. I love it is stitched 1 strand over. This is La Di Da Flag City. The link to it is down below to the freebie. I did make some personalization changes on it, such as Lee Summit, which is where I live. Only one Lee Summit in the whole wide world. And I used some quilting cotton fabric from Hobby Lobby that I bought a couple years ago, and it is pillow ticking. Looks like old pillow ticking. And I just used my new sewing machine, which is the mini or child sewing machine, to stitch this up, and I love that little thing. I'll tell you about that. But I made little ties right there on the side, pinned them to the side, and I put a handle to hang it from. It has been hanging from my front door. I just used some red, white, and blue flowers that I had here at home, and I found this darling little red, white, and blue pinwheel at the grocery store in the floral department. But it turned out really cute. It's not going to hang on my front door forever, and my front door is protected from direct sunlight, so minimal fading. So anyways, this is Flag City. If you want to take a picture of the screen, do it now. So my next finish is Yankee Doodle Ducky. It is a freebie from Hand Blessing, I believe 2005. And I stumbled across an archive of newsletters on the Flying Needle website, and I was looking through them, and I found him, and I'd never seen him before, and I was mesmerized by his hat. Truly, it was his hat. It's like that a tall stovepipe hat in red, white, and blue. And I stitched him on 28 count Lugana in white, and I actually used 6-strand sweets, which is no longer made, but it was hand dyed by, I believe, Jessica Burr, I think. If I'm wrong, let me know. And I just think he's so cute, and I love the white floss. It had a real faded red and blue, almost like it would look like if your color on your floss ran, that kind. And I just thought it gave a real interesting effect to the white. So he is just darling. And I started him on June 22nd of this year, and I finished him on June 30th. And I'm easily distracted, so. But he is cute. His little eyes are little petite seed beads, and he's quacking at you. Quack, 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 quack. The second freebie that I just finished is one by Alita Designs. She has lots of free designs out there. And this one's called 4th of July, Heart. And I stitched it with Veldani threads, which I love. I think the Veldani threads they remind me of the flower threads. Or there was a line that DMC had of linen floss, which was a nightmare to stitch with, but I loved the way it looked. But it is actually stitched on a 28 count country French linen in gold needle. And it doesn't look quite gold needle-ish there, but that's what it is. I love the chevron stripes. I think that gave it an interesting look about it. And in the blue field, she had 4th of July. And I didn't really like that, so I backstitched 1776, and I also backstitched some primitive looking stars, because I thought just with the 1776 that it looked sort of like it needed something. And so that's what. But I actually love this, and I'm very pleased with it. I don't know how I'm going to finish it. I might finish it into like a doorknob hanger or something in a puffed heart. It would be cute hanging down below my pocket. So I don't know. We'll see. Something will come to me, or maybe I'll never finish it. So this next part, hold on, because I've dropped this. I have tons and tons of whips, and I'm certainly not going to show them all to you today, but little by little I think I'll probably show them to you. And this first one I've lately been wanting to get back to, and I will here shortly, but I'm working on a special project that I'll tell you about in a minute. This is a Just Nan from 1995 called Roses for St. Nicholas. That's the leaflet. Yes, I do enlarge my patterns. It makes it easier for my old eyes to see, and I actually take them up to the FedEx store or the UPS store where they have a real nice copy center, and I really enlarge them big. The bigger the better. But this, I did not buy the bead pack, and I would encourage you, all of you, to buy the bead packs. If there's bead packs, especially with the Just Nans, buy the bead pack. If you choose to in the future change them and use a different bead, that's fine, but at least you'll have the bead pack. What I found with this was that I had no idea what color some of these beads were. None whatsoever. Where's the here? Like I had, well, you sort of know what an antique rose bead would look like, but a green bead, a red plum, but she used to use a lot of SJ beads, and so I had ordered some from SJ Designs, and they just didn't want, the one just didn't look right. It didn't look right at all. So I sought the help of people on the Facebook Just Nan site, Facebook group Just Nan Lovers, and they helped me out immensely. But one of them called for a bugle bead, and actually what it was it wasn't a bugle bead as you would think. It was actually like a rounded square bead, and those weren't available anymore. So I struggled, and I had a lot of teeth gnashing over the beads, but I actually did find some suitable things that I liked, that worked for me. And I do have it gridded because it is a stocking, and I also put numbers over here and then numbered the chart so it would really help me. But, and this is not going to do it any justice at all, but if you go to my blog, you will see some pictures of this Roses for St. Nicholas on there. And the bugle beads, I used like an old gold bugle bead, and I stitched them so they formed like an X, and then I stitched a maroon or a cranberry colored metallic bead, round bead, in between the spokes of the X. And I don't know that you can see that real well, but it turned out beautiful and I loved it. And I'd never seen bugle beads stitched that way, or it's like a bead flower, but it was a happy accident, and I would have never discovered this if I would have had the bead back. And then I couldn't really decide which color for these motifs, these beaded motifs in the center. So I did one with them purpley, and then I did one with a lighter pink or rose pink beads, and I'm not sure which one I want to use. Leslie suggested that I alternate them, but I'm actually was enjoying this, but I did have to set it down. Just Nan's can be very challenging, which is probably good, but this is up here, I'm going to turn it upside down again, is like a lace cuff. And you can see how beautiful that looks. And then this is the green tassel. But yeah, just beautiful. And this is DMC on a 28 count raw linen opalescent, I believe. You see. Yeah, 28 count opalescent raw linen. I actually started this on January 18th, 2020, which was last year. That's as far as I got, and then I got distracted. I'm easily distracted. But if you want to know the substitutes I used, please let me know, ask me, and I'll share those with you. Yeah, I that's going to be beautiful when it's done. It really is. The second thing I wanted to share with you is I've been stitching on this one for a very long time. It is called Destiny, and you will not find this pattern out in the cross stitch world. I fell in love with a art print and it spoke to me so much. It is spiritually a spiritual piece for me. It is called Destiny, and that is the baby Jesus working, playing with spikes in his father Joseph's workshop. And if you see the shadow behind him, that is his destiny, is to be crucified. And you see a little halo on there. And I was so moved by this piece. I copied the, I'm telling stories here, I guess, but it's an anonymous author, and it's I had the cross stitch pattern made from a saved image of the artwork, and this is sort of wrinkled, but I decided to stitch it on black Lugana, 28 count black Lugana, because there's so much black in it, and I thought that if I did that I would save myself a whole lot of stitching, because this is huge. And this is what I have done so far. I had started this piece in 2017, and then I picked it up again in August of 2020 until November. And I put it down. I put it down, and I picked it up again in January of this year until my birthday, which is at the end of the month. And as of October last year, I had 9,100 stitches done. But you can actually see Joseph's forehead up here. This is the window of the workshop. So, and I am gridding. I'm using DMC. Uses like 90 colors of floss. But it says, because people have asked me for this pattern, and I will not share this pattern with them. I will put a link in the notes to the Christ Center Mall, which is where they're selling prints of this artwork. And Destiny, by an artist who wishes to remain anonymous, beautifully depicts Jesus as a young boy in Joseph's carpenter shop. The nail spikes and shadow of the cross foretell the events to come, the destiny that Christ came to fulfill. Okay. So there used to be even more information up there on that website about this, but it's no longer there. But I will someday get this stitched, and I was having a great time stitching on it. But anyway, yeah, I would love to. It's just really a work of love, and I wish I knew who the artist is. But gotta respect the artist's wish to remain anonymous. So that's my second. Now this is a free design that I'm stitching on. It's called Pink, and it's by Anne Logan. And I don't know if you can see this or not. The number, I did the numbers on here, so that's page numbers. It's just pink daisies. Pink daisies, and then there's some hearts up here. So I'm stitching it on a 28 count even weave that I had in my stash using the called for DMC floss. And this is what I've got stitched so far. A little hard to see the flowers, but I want to make it into a cushion, a pillow when it's done. And pink is my favorite. And you know, I was really disappointed at first because it's got like coral colors in it. But when I started stitching it, but it really, it doesn't detract from the pink at all. It enhances the pink. So this is my third work in progress that I'm doing. The link to pink is down below in the notes. Alrighty, now this is my special project that I'm doing. I don't know if any of you know who the Needy Homesteader is on Facebook, but I do follow a lot of prepping videos, and there is she makes bread, hence the word in her name, Needy. I didn't actually find her until after the accident, but on the 13th of February, her husband and her 2 young children had gone to for Valentine meal out, and on their way home they were hit by a drunk driver doing 70 miles an hour. Her husband Matthew was killed. She was critically injured. Her 2 children had really bad injuries also. Heather had a brain injury and lots of broken bones, and they didn't think that she was going to live. The daughter doesn't talk about her father. She doesn't. She's young. I mean, I think she's like 4, maybe. Doesn't talk about the accident, doesn't talk about her father. The son's a little bit older, and he saw the man get out of the truck, check on his dogs who were in the back bed of the truck, his truck, and then go over and look at them and then walk away. He called no one. Horrific. Heather is going through, she is recovering very slowly. She will always be plagued by her brain injury, on top of losing the love of her life. So anyways, there's huge outpouring for her. And her son, from an older son of hers, set up a GoFundMe, and they made, I think, close to $700,000 on the GoFundMe. The story's been in the news and everything, but this gal, Heather, is just, she's touched my heart. So her and her kids, when she came home from the hospital, her and her kids, they planted a tree in memorial for Matthew. And they planted a willow tree. I love willow trees. I have a willow tree in my backyard. So I had found, I'm following stuff around all the time on the internet from the Heart designer, Wendy Petros, and I was looking at her stuff, and I loved her stuff. It's like simple, gentle designs. And the one that caught my eye was Willow Tree Sampler. And I thought of Heather. So I've started this, the 17th. I started that, so 2 to 3 days ago. I started this, and it is this. Yeah. And it calls for weeks dyed works, which you're not going to believe. I did not have a single color that this pattern called for. So I pulled out my old Willow Stitchery threads and took my DMC color card, because she gave DMC conversions for the weeks, and I pulled colors for out of the old Willow. And this, it's not very far, but it's the house and the window, and I'm stitching this for her. And I'm not going to put Matthew's name on it, but I will put 2021 on it. When I get done, I'm going to have it framed, or I'll frame it myself, and I'm going to send it to her. Just because she's become important to me. It's not hard for good people to become important to me. I have a huge heart, and that's why God gave me this big body, is to carry around this huge heart that I have. And so she just humbles me, because she's got to get better for her kids. She's got to provide for her kids. So she is the Needy Stitcher, and if you're interested in any of her bread, she makes bread, and her husband loved her bread. And the other day she had a video. It's the first bread that she's baked since the accident, and it was the baguette bread. The day before the accident, she had baked the baguette bread for her husband. So just last week, she baked this bread for the first time since the accident. It was very, very poignant video, and she is, and I should get a link to her channel, the Needy Homesteader, and I'll put it in the link if you're interested in Heather's. But anyways, this is going to Heather, and this is being stitched on 28 count gold needle linen. The design size is 90 by 90. It's the old Willow sampler and the designer is From the Heart, and it's got a copyright date of 2014, and I did order it on her Etsy shop along with some others that I really liked. So I'm cutting down on all of my spending, and I'm doing that because my husband and I are saving up for a new car. My car bit the big one, and it's a 2001 Honda Civic that I bought brand new. The electrical system is going on it, and I'm not gonna spend any more money on that car. It's got 65,000 miles on it. The engine is still really good on it, but my husband has a 2003 Ford Taurus. We bought that maybe 7 or 8 years ago from a friend. It was used to have well over 100,000 miles on it. I think we spent like $600 or $700 on it, and he's driven it this long. We need a car, and we can actually do with just one car. So we're saving for a really big down payment. My goal is I am going to get better at not spending money, and I'm going to cook from home. We sort of lapsed into eating out, but I'm determined, absolutely determined, that I am not going to spend as much money as my husband. So anyways, so that's all about stitching. And as this is 35 minutes, and again, that's like 10 minutes longer than I wanted it to be. But this is like my 6th take on this, and so anyways, as always, all the links are down in the show notes. I do want to share one. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And, well, actually there was one thing I wanted to do, because I found this and I thought this was incredible. It's an organization, a free organizing batch of organizational journals and stuff like that for your stitching. And it was from a blog called Stitch All the Things, and it had a master stitch list, and these are free. It's one download, and you get all of these. You get the master stitch list of everything that you're stitching, a monthly whip tracker, which you can track what you've stitched on what days, what project. This is a record, project record about just what you're stitching. And here's a yearly stitch tracker. Your fabric inventory, projects to fully finish and how they were fully finished, project shopping list, needle minders. You'd laugh if you saw my needle minders. I have like 6 of them. That's about it. Monthly stitching plan, a stitch along tracker, all your kitted charts, an inventory of kitted charts, and your chart inventory. So there's a lot. I mean, this is free. Most of the people are charging for this stuff. But on Stitch All the Things, she just gives it away as a download. And I think that's very generous. So that's something you might be interested with. And I haven't shared this on Needle Free for All, but I will. So, anyways, the link to this to the download is down below. It's Christine Slaughter is her name, and I doubt that she's watching this, but thank you, Christine. I don't know what I'm going to use out of that, but I may use something. I'm not, I like to think that I'm organized, but I'm not anally organized. Alrighty then, so let me just I've shown you my fully finished. I've shown you my finishes. I didn't really talk a lot about my reorganization of my happy room, but it's done and I love it. I've showed you my whips. And I've talked about Needle Free for All, my blog. Thank you for my comments. Or thank you for my comments on my last video. And I'm also going to tell you that I've been listening to Bible in a Year podcasts from Ascension, and it's Father Mike who reads. And this is a different kind of a Bible a year thing. It's done in chronological order. So it makes a little more sense, because sometimes the Bible is just broken up really. It's confusing. I mean, you're in different time periods and you're just confused. I love this. I love Father Mike. I bought the app, but you don't have to buy the app. You can actually listen to the Bible in a year on YouTube free and start with day one. So if you're into that, and it does follow the Catholic Bible. I know there's some differences between it and the King James, but you can actually, if you're interested, that's something I'll link down below. And I've done the next project for Heather, and this is something I have to work on every day. It's Proverbs 12:25. Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up. And I want you to know that your words do cheer me up. And I feel so blessed to have all of you watching me, and you are in my life. If you watch my video, you are in my life, and I thank you. And I pray for all of you every night. And if you have anything to say to me, you can email me, you can put it in your comments, you can do it on Facebook. And for anybody who wants to give me a thumbs down, you go right ahead. But I would like for you to tell me in the comments what it was that you didn't like. And I think that that's fair. So, I'm going to say to all of you, God bless you. You will hear from me in a couple of weeks. And I love you. And stitch on, girls. I can't turn this off.